of experience, right? And yes, he did really well, but I feel like expecting much more macro from a team like this without the necessary experience is a really rough one. If they can actually bounce back, I feel like they gotta try and find a specific angle and really all in on it. May it be a cheese pick, may it be a super aggressive draft. Like, you need to throw something weird here, because I think if you play straight up against Gen.G, you're just not gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, even you were talking about the Lucian hover that they did in the last game. You know, just maybe try to put more pressure on a BDD. We saw he wasn't super clean in that last game. There were some good moments, but maybe if they could try to take advantage of that, or maybe put some pressure on the lane, some early game priority picks, could maybe get the job done, even though it's not necessarily DRX's style. As we're seeing the same bans here so far.
Listen, Gen.G, when you played aggressive comps, I was okay with the Seraphine ban. But we've moved past that, okay? You're back to playing scaling teamfight comps. Please, guys, leave this pick open and pick it first side on blue, because within the LCK it's just been such an incredibly strong and like high priority pick that teams just seem unable to deal with due to the consistency and the amount of team threat pressure that comes out of it. Udyr first pick, definitely something that I can see them go for here as Gen.G. Maybe they do want to go for a Tristana, considering that DRX don't really seem to have an answer to it. Give over to Udyr again, because Pyoshi's 100% where it is now broken, and could go for that. I think Udyr is the most likely, though.
Yeah, I mean, with so much focus on the jungle nowadays, we're seeing a lot of jungle first picks as Udyr is going to come through. Would not be surprised if Pyosik just answered with an Olaf and we kind of got mirrored situations here. Maybe he goes into something like a Kindred. It's been a pick that he's played a lot of so far. The Renekton is still available. We saw that Gen.G was kind of taking a while to lock in the Udyr, perhaps because the Renekton has been a very high prio pick for them and just in general here.
It's going to be Renekton Italy, isn't it? That would be very in theme. Then again, you don't have to lock in an Italy right now. You can do it next. So I actually like this from DRX, right? Like, they go in very hard on the early aggression. It's going to be an Italy pick. You can't really flex the Udyr, so you don't have to be afraid that it gets picked up against you, right? Like, you already know the Udyr is going into the jungle. A Senna Kench would be really nice here. I think that okay, so this is a bit of a bigger risk. Now, Senna can still be combined with things like the Set, like the Maokai. There are still other options.
Cho'Gath.
Honestly, I'd be okay with it. But the problem is that it is a pick that then carries a little bit more risk. I don't think as this should be an early pickup, otherwise it's definitely going to get banned away. I like the Senna if you do give her defensive survivability. Instead, Gen.G says, listen, we know that Rascal feels comfortable going for the Voli matchup into the Renekton. It's traditionally has been a pick that deals with it decently, although I feel like 11.6 Volibear is really strong again because he can jungle with the best of them, but right now I don't feel like he's in the best of places. He does, however, provide really nice setup, and the Senna in a comp like this always gives you a lot of additional value, and unsurprisingly, there is the Tom Kench ban, and I'm almost certain you ban away the Set here as well.
Yeah, especially because of his life.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to let him play that and be farming and potentially take over the game. There's not many support players that we get to say that about, but Life is definitely one of them. What is going to be the choice here? As it's up to Becca to press the button, and he's actually going to ban away Azir, so they're only scared of the Tom Kench alongside of Senna.
Alistar ban here, maybe, for Gen.G? Don't think Senna Alistar is super good, and Alistar Tristana is not very fun to play against. And it does very well with what the DRX team comp is going to end up being, which I hope is snowball aggressively, dive hard, and end the game from there. Pretty sure you just want to go for an Alistar here, but they might be afraid that there's going to be a weird like counter pick coming out here from the side of Gen.G. Oh no, 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 no! I do not like that at all. That is Listen, it doesn't. Don't go for late game insurance with this comp. Like, just don't bother. Like, legitimately.
Yeah, it's gonna be the second time, right?
Listen, Lucian is open again. Oh yes, please. Oh my God. Not ironically.
At least Gen.G are scratching the itch, but No. They are going to play Zoe, though, at least.
It's still possible, Veldas.
Yeah.
Still see it happen. However, I'm not loving. I would not love that. Of course, yeah. The like B5 support Darius counter pick blind. That sure. I mean, listen, it's life, right? Like I don't know what this man has in store for us. That is
what?
Whoa. Okay. Is there going to be a Volibear bot lane?
Yeah, maybe.
And a Karma top? Because I actually love that.
Does look like it. The Karma.
Oh, that's
kind of laughs at the Renekton in the solo lane. We'll see how it does against Renekton in Italy. Nautilus is going to be the final pick. And there you have it. Not the ending we were expecting to this draft.
Come on. Life and Rascal, I want to see you guys swap. Because I feel like the Senna and the Karma, like in terms of duo lane, are just not as strong. Like I don't feel like they synergize very well. Senna really excels with a beefy body right next to her that can set up for her root, right? That can protect her, that can body block shots. And I guess with the Karma, you're gonna and also you put life on like something aggressive. Maybe I got overexcited about that, but I actually really like that idea. I felt like it would have been the angle to go for. Because
maybe it's a swap bug.
I don't think so. Well, I think I just got overexcited over nothing, and honestly, like that makes me like the Gen.G comp a little bit less. Again, I love the Karma pick. I think Karma in a comp with Volibear Udyr provides so much utility, right? Like you have a really strong mobile mid-game comp, which can actually match if you weather the early game, which can actually match the mid-game power spike from the Renekton Italy composition. And I go back again to this Victor. Why is there not a Lucian? Like,
yeah.
Or something aggressive, right? Like, I feel like it would make so much more sense because you are not winning the late game with this composition from DRX no matter what. Like, even looking at the relatively subpar late game team fighting from this Gen.G comp, I still think you're not gonna... I'm just, especially with the lack of impact, like, I get the idea behind the Victor, but I am firmly of the belief that if you commit to the Renekton Italy, like, I think that is a valid line. It is something where if your opponent messes up once or twice, you can run over them, right? Like, that is what these picks do. They synergize incredibly well, they can take over a top side, but then you need to have a mid laner that actually bolsters that, and instead you go for a pick that last game didn't really have an impact. I don't expect it to really have an impact this time either. And Gen.G, once they hit like the one item power spikes and this death ball is going to start running around the map, it's not going to be fun for DRX.
Yeah, pretty interesting. You know, when it comes to the Victor pick for Solka, he looked very comfortable on it in the last game, right? He did the most damage overall. He won the lane against BDD, so maybe it's just a comfort thing. But again, we don't see that comfort picks always win, and you definitely want to have some synergy within your composition, I think, over that. Solka is not a Victor one-trick or anything like that. He's played a multitude of many different things. But that's going to be the choice either way this time around. I want to also show to you guys that Life has taken the teleport in this game. So we have Exhaust teleport down in the bottom side. They're not going to be looking for kills. There's no Ignite on them, whereas Becca has Ignite himself. Has a big trade up in the top side, but Rascal says, oh, you've got Conqueror and you are Renekton, so I'm going to have to back away.
Buddy? I like the initial idea there from Rascal, because I think in short trades, if you can get a couple of procs from your double lane, you're feeling very good, unlike Solko does not feel very good. But that was a little bit too long, as you say. Once Conqueror procs, you really want to get out of there.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Oh.
Victor.
Rascal just, he's not having a fun time up there now. He got 1 CS from the trade, too.
And listen, that play is so close to working for Rascal, because Volibear's passive, like stacking it early, provides you with so much value, because basically, I think what he tried to do there is you get Prio on the wave early, right? And then you shove Renekton into his turret, you get it to bounce, and he can freeze it in front of you, and like the Renekton Italy combo is not nearly as threatening. But instead, you are just completely getting frozen out or like zoned off the wave.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's really, really rough. And now Clayton's gonna have to cover on top side. And you're not getting this CS back because like Kingen has just been able to let his minions kill all that. Because you saw how low health those minions are. If you get like 1 or 2 more autos in there as the devoted bear, like that wave clears up. And the situation completely changes. But instead, greedy attempt from Rascal there to take control of the wave early leads to him being just completely zoned out. Oh, you need to cover it cleared, otherwise it's not going to end well for your top laner.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie before. As the flash comes in, there is the spear. Kingen does get stunned up, but it's going to be enough as teleport now coming in from BDD. As, well, he does pick up a flash, but at the end of the day, still got 2 members of DRX around, as now Rascal is just going mid.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you shove in the next wave, and then you swap back to your original lanes.
It's just funny to watch.
Yeah, it's Rascal. It's something that you can't really get away with. I think that when Volibear was at his strongest, like last year, and he was like a true, I think, counter pick to DRX, and was actually able to match the early game, it might have gone a little bit better. But instead, you're not even going to get that much value out of shoving this wave in because of the cannon, right? Like, Kingen's going to pick up most of this. He's going to be able to secure himself a, I'd say, 15, 16 CS lead. And then Rascal's just going to have to be very sad in his lane. And if Pyosik decides to visit again, he's just going to die again.
Yeah. So, definitely a nice start here for DRX. They're like, well, we picked Renekton Nidalee, and we did the Renekton Nidalee thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of let us do that and didn't guard against it. The bottom lane here for Gen.G has been looking really nice, actually. Especially into the last pick, Nautilus. The Senna Karma just kind of laughs at you. And you're never really going to have some great pressure down there. And also Karma with items is not half bad.
And one upside of the Karma that we didn't really mention is that by shoving Karma or putting Karma in this bot lane, you have perma prior. Like, they're just never ever going to be able to match you. And that means that Udyr can actually play on the bot side of the map, so Rascal is just going to be a complete sacrificial bear here. And simultaneously, last hitting with Tristana on the turret feels a little bit awkward because of a passive, right? Because of the E that blows up minions, and it's not amazing. It doesn't feel great. As I told you that it's the sacrificial bear. He is 15 CS right now. This is not a Cyan, right? Like, this is actually a problem on this pick. Because he doesn't get as many free steroids. He doesn't get as big a health buff.
Clid and BDD are coming up here. But the timing, as you mentioned, especially with the Dominus level 6 here on the Renekton, a very easy kill. Kingen is going to have to flash away. Bubble is really nice from BDD. That was away from downtown. You get a lot of damage coming in here, but Kingen still with the Dominus available. And now TP comes in from Solka and is going to match and deny any kills here going the way of Gen.G.
I didn't mention it earlier, but the one way that you win this game is DRX, even though, like, if you win early game, super hard, right? Like, that's really all you need to do. And that's what they're doing right here, BDD.
He's got exhaust. You could slow him down for quite a while. No Chaos Storm here. Might be able to force a flash. Trying to get in there. The damage is enough! And Solka does not flash away from it, thinking he could survive. That's just going to be the kill going the way of BDD.
And that's something that you need so badly here as Gen.G, because you need something to keep you in this game. And yes, your bot lane is doing decent, but it's going to be a while before that Senna can have a big impact on the game. As Rascal is he's scrounging around the map. Listen, this bear wants to hibernate. He needs to have enough food, and currently he does not have nearly enough.
Doesn't have anything, really. He's got 26 CS at 7.5 minutes. That's not a fun time.
And listen, I think that Rascal, they went for a really high risk, high reward early game, and he got punished, like incredibly so. And it is a risk that you take against the Renekton Nidalee, where if you make a big early game misplay, this just happens, right? Like, this is just going to happen over and over again. And yeah, that's just especially without ultimate, there's nothing you can do. Rascal can just not play the game. There's a reason why this combo is so big, but then We don't see the really nice bubble. It actually doesn't lead to anything, but then we do see this play coming out from BDD, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think he would do that much damage either.
Yeah.
I think Sorka didn't
auto.
expect it. It was the auto specifically,
Look,
right?
oh my god, so much damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of sparkles.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Zoe nuke. Klid's in a really nice spot here, actually. He's gonna get the vision of both of them. Ruler now on the top side. Coming on up, 1v1 up on the top side. Pyosik is actually taking a lot of damage, and the flash over the wall, he's just gonna die. No flash available for the Nidalee. He gets caught with his pants down, and that's gonna be now Klid securing this as Ruler is just going for a walk in the enemy jungle.
It's the most... Oh, Ruler, no, man, you're not allowed to do that. That's the most Ruler flash I've ever seen. Where it's like, that's my kill, okay?
Yeah.
Come on.
Penta?
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 He sees the lines, Valdez. He knows what's up, and the main takeaway for this is that with Pyosik, yet again, and I can understand this, I feel like DRX, they feel like they need to force the lead, and yet again, here comes that inexperience in, right? Like, yes, you need to push your lead, yes, you have a Renekton Italy, you want to go and aggressively play it, but he got spotted, right? Like, they saw the Scryers up, they knew that was happening, and I think a team with more experience could handle that situation better, but DRX just kind of fold under the pressure. They know they need to do something, but they don't really need to know what, how, and when. And that leads to a situation where slowly Rascal can start at least being beefy, right? I don't think he's actually going to have any significance in this game, but he doesn't really need to. Because the rest of his team slowly getting fed. Klid's going to get beefy. Rascal will still have the support of a Karma and a Senna. Could be just fine.
Yeah, the Senna just gets to roam around the map and do whatever he wants. The Karma in the solo lane, even against the Tristana Nautilus at this point, is totally fine to just farm under turrets and be totally safe. Pyosik, there is that control word there. It's kind of on an angle, but they do get the question mark ping on where he is exactly, so it seems like they have a good idea of where he is, and here's this kill again.
And I don't know why they don't... I guess they kind of zoned by Rascal, but I feel like they could have gone for a collective retreat instead of Pyosik just jumping over the wall. Well, you know someone was there. There was a Scryer's orb. Like, you don't know who it is. It's probably Udin, but it's not good.
Can they get the kill? Oh, that... Not Zoe. I know BDD's having a good game, but actually Rascal is the guy we need to watch, and he is able to ult away to safety. For now.
BDD grab a minion, because this is not pretty, Valdez.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Time number 3 this time around. They do have the Senna to help out. Kingan does tank up a lot of damage, but the burn does come in, and that will be enough to take down the bear once again.
Rascal just wants to play the game, man. He just wants to bomb. And you know what the thing is like, this is not even the worst version of this, because Renekton Italy is insane, but remember when Renekton Elise was meta?
Yeah.
Like, that is even worse, as life needs to respect me. Bow right at that, but will not die in the end. And now Gen.G said yes, the jungler is getting sacrificed completely.
He missed that one ward. I don't think it's going to matter, but that was incredibly close.
But the problem is that, yes, you have no top laner as Gen.G, but you do have 2 Drakes and a Fat Ruler and a BDD with a kill and a 20 CS lead. And I don't like all those.
There's a lot of things you're listing there, Chronicler.
That's my problem, Valdez, is that top side enough? I don't think it will be. And I think that what we see here is that DRX, I like the angle they took in this game. I actually think this was the right call, right? Like, again, I don't agree with the Victor, but outside of that, they recognize we can't win mid to late. We're just going to punish. I like that, but the cross-map plays from Gen.G is good.
Okay, they're going to get the flash away.
He's just going to shove in the wave and come again.
It's going to happen a lot, so... Yeah, not much that Rascal can do except try to play weak side as Volibear. Down a level, no flash.
This is where you honor the Volibear after the game for like strong mental.
Yeah.
Untiltable.
Untiltable.
And this is why I think the Renekton Italy will always remain relevant as long as these 2 champions are in the relative like strength that they currently are, because unfortunate reality of the matter is Rascal made one mistake in the early game. Literally on level 1 on the wave, and it has led to basically 20 minutes of Rascal just getting just getting demolished again and again and again and again. And we saw Zeus get the same treatment.
Yeah.
Somewhere throughout, I think it was at the start of round 2, where this is just sometimes kind of happens to you as a top laner, and it's not fun, it's not nice. You just gotta try and stay alive as much as you possibly can, because yes, there is a 1.8 court lead on Renekton, but BDD and Life also have a, I guess the Life lead needs to be more as to, like it still evens out because you'd expect Ruler to have less gold, so that doesn't really translate very well. But it does still say a lot about the general state of the bot lane, where Ruler and Life have just been able to kind of move around with complete impunity. And my problem is that once the grouping starts coming through, I think DRX is not going to have a good time, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how big this Renekton can get, because while he's not your classic tank, he's no Scion, he's no Cho'Gath. He can get pretty ridiculous with a lot of levels and some farm. We'll see. We'll see, though, if, you know, the Senna Zoe damage is enough. The burst damage from the Zoe might not help too much, but when you've got a Senna who's doing really nicely, and you also have a lot of sustain in your own composition with the Karma and stuff like that, that can really help, especially with the movement speed.
Not again. Not like this.
So it'll be interesting to see. As this is... I guess it's still interesting to see. We get to see some action. This time Rascal does the right thing. His turret is about to die, so he just backs off and decides to live this time.
I mean, they're letting him go, right? Like they if they want, they can kill him, but it's a lot more risky, and I don't think the reward at this point is still worth it. And I think that the Karma actually is one of the bigger problems here for Gen.G, because what you want to do is DRX, you want to go in and blow someone up, right? And then the Senna already provides a lot of survivability for the team with possible exhaust onto the Renekton, which I definitely expect to come see down. And then the ultimate and the heal. But then in conjunction to that, a Karma that has been farming is going to hit those spikes very nicely. The fact that Life doesn't go for Moonstone but goes for AP does make me a very sad color caster. I would have I would have much rather seen that, especially because I don't feel like you need the damage against the DRX comp. Like,
yeah, don't worry, the play-by-plays were also sad.
Okay.
At least on the
I'm glad you're here with me.
Yeah. We'll see how that Leandries does. I mean, you know,
listen, I can hear you trying to find a positive angle, and I really appreciate it, Valdez, but you know, sometimes there are no positive angles, like the fact that we have another Cloud Soar here, which for Gen.G is not the worst. They're a comp that loves running around, and their hard engage really is something that they're kind of lacking, but with a Karma and a Mountain Soul, that becomes not as big a problem. So I think they'll be decently happy about the fact that, as a whole, you're still going to be just fine with engaging. You can look for bubbles, you can look for straight up sprinting at your opponent. The bear going in is also a distinct possibility. And listen, I'm going to... You know what Rascal should go here, non-ironically? Just go for the Whippo build, grab that Zhonya second.
That sounds hilarious. We'll see if he actually does go for it. Here's big boy Renekton and his little brother Victor coming on in. That's a lot of damage you're taking, good friends. Is actually Rascal, down 3 kills, did so much tanking in the front line. Bao and Becca could not join in the front part of that fight. And Soka and King just got totally separated from the rest of their team. With no support, they get taken down, and only Life goes down to show for it.
It's just standing there. He's ootering, just like...
Just ooter things,
I am posturing.
Ootering.
Oh my god. Well, that looks good, and it feels really cool, but it also doesn't actually do anything. And this is the problem, like that's kind of the feeling I've had with DRX throughout this entire series, is basically they're throwing punches, but there's no weight behind them. Like the plays are working out, but you're not actually turning them into anything. Oh boy. I thought they were actually gonna get more out of that, but without the CC landing, not as much as you can do. And want to see replay again there, because here we see the exact problem with the Renekton. If you don't get on top of the enemy backline, your value is not nearly as apparent, and a Karma excels at that situation. Right? Like Karma makes it so much harder for you to actually get onto the enemy backline with the shielding and the root and the survivability for the rest of the team. And we're going to see Ruler really, like Ruler again, this movement is so clean, right? Because This is unfortunate, but the minion wave keeps him alive for a little bit. He finds the sidestep, doesn't have to flash that crucially, because in the moment that King comes in, he flashes away. And as long as Ruler stays alive for the entirety of this fight, you're good.
Yeah.
And as you already pointed out so greatly, is that Rascal, he doesn't need to do anything else. He just needs to buy time, right? And I feel like in this game, he's basically had a lot of practice in buying time. It was for himself initially, now it's for actual use for members on the rest of his team.
Yeah.
And...
oh no. Okay, he's got flash this time. His ultimate wasn't quite available, but you know, he still survives. I suppose that's good. He didn't take a kill either, so...
on a Rascal, please.
Yes.
Guys, the
player of the game this time around.
I don't know about that. The level 1 was pretty sus, but I do think that, unironically, Gen.G is a team that have admitted themselves to being pretty tip-prone, right? And being able to kind of shake this off, still play as well as you possibly can with the limited amount of resource that you were given in this game is something that Rascal needs to do. And he needs to be a frontline for the rest of his team. And then the rest of his team will most definitely carry him because it's now Soul Point, BDD and Ruler are both set. You have a front line, you have a Karma that keeps all of the comp together. And I would like to see Gen.G really push it in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Just in case that like late game, even though your Senna is really good, you might run into problems with like the Victor just down if you don't get onto them immediately, right? And I think your engage is actually kind of lacking as Gen.G. You're basically your way of going about it, just run at them quickly, which works now because Soul and Bao don't have items.
I don't have items. It is going to be really hard to get away from Karma shielded Cloud Soul.
Oh yeah.
Volibear Udyr, so
yeah, it's not great.
All they do is run at them, but they also do run at them really nicely and really well.
Really fast, yes.
Yes.
2 chem tanks. I noticed you forgot to mention, so it's 2.
Oh, yes, okay. So 2 so far.
Yeah.
Probably 1 for Becca.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get it on the Karma this game. Maybe next time.
Oh no, I don't want to think about that. Well, that's like, I would have wanted to see Moonstone. I don't know if the world is ready for Chem Tank Karma.
I had a top Karma in one of my games that went Chem Tank Thornmail.
Every really
never died.
Collectively recovered from Tank Karma as a League of Legends community. I don't think we have.
We finished the game like 7-0 and 23. It was great.
Wow.
Because just nobody could kill him.
No.
It's just impossible.
Understandably.
Yeah. You know, with the AP, you get bigger shields, you help out your team a bit more. But when you're just flexing this top Karma, sometimes you just got to play for yourself. Yeah, you know, it actually worked out really nicely, especially the way that bottom lane went. Where it was just like nothing happened.
Yeah,
and they got the prio.
In hindsight, like, it actually has worked out really well. Oh no.
Not even gonna say anything. Actually, even if he hit that spear, I don't even think.
Oh, it wouldn't.
It would have been able to kill him.
It's a funny moment, right? But it doesn't actually change anything.
Yeah.
Yes, you have vision, but you don't really want to all in there on some tanky boys on the side of Gen.G. It's not really going to be worth it. This is just going to be a soul fight, isn't it? You're going to be Gen.G picking up the Cloud Soul, and not a lot that DRX can do, even though they're only 400 gold behind. This games feel completely out of their reach, and it's because of their lack of ability to transition that early game topside lead into something meaningful. And I'm not super surprised, even with how much they punished Rascal. I feel like this composition was kind of all over the place. The Victor pick, I don't want to keep going back to it, but I do legitimately feel like if you have something that can push a little bit more, DRX possibly still loses this game, just through macro difference, but at least you get a little bit more ability to get stuff done. Now Gen.G. Teleport coming in.
Pyosik sees it as well, but Rascal just kind of running away, taking a little bit of a trade. Has to be careful, as the spear is going to land. Pyosik getting on in there, but he gets hit by a bubble immediately. And he is going to be able to flash away to get the safety, but immediately your jungler not feeling great. He does have the heals coming through, but BDD now in a perfect position to just be so annoying over this wall with multiple abilities already hitting. Pyosik getting some health back. As you can see the speed coming on through. They also have the Scuttle Crab. And once again, the entire team of DRX is just totally separated as BDD goes in. nearly able to kill Kingen. Nice teleport back comes in from Solka. As BDD still raining hell, but he's out of mana now. Still going for it here. As now Rascal is getting pretty low, and I think with BDD out of mana, Gen.G in a little bit of an awkward spot here. He's going to have to TP back.
Have the teleport available, and the health bars are still okay. Only Rascal is low, but he still has the ultimate available, and he's a Karma to back him up.
All right, well, where are we teleporting to? Okay, yeah, he's going to go way back there. As let's see the smite here on the Drake. It is going to go the way of Pyosik this time around. Rascal in the front line does a great job separating him once again. And now Khalid, extremely fast, is able to push the rest of them away. But the Cloud Drake, at least, did go into the hands of DRX.
I would not be surprised if Gen.G is able to turn this into a lot of order. Maybe Baron on the table. Pyosik, however, is still alive. BDD, come on, man!
Yeah, he's not letting down any of us here tonight. As he even has another flash. Will he look for more? There's the flash coming in, hits the bubble! I don't know if the damage is quite there, but the Leandries is gonna burn him down! And that's gonna be the kill from way downtown. From BDD onto Bao, who just is not in this game anymore. Ruler playing with fire as he normally does, actually will bite the dust.
Oh, that's big though. That's a lot of sustain gone.
They get the Santa, and another spear lands, and even just the low health Victor with the Nidalee is enough to push Gen.G off of this one. As now Pyosik in the brush, gonna wait as long as possible. And there it is, the spear comes in, Clid dies, and now maybe DRX can get something going.
This is a DRX moment if I've ever seen one, Velders. This is what they did. This is how they found their wins. And don't forget, Gen.G a little tilt prone, really getting overexcited there, being way too far forward into a fat Nidalee. Not something you can really get away with. They're not actually starting up the Baron though, and I quite like it because I don't think you actually see that up. Oh boy. Are they going to just give it up? I'm pretty...
Oh, okay. Now the pings are coming in.
I'm confused. Because Bao wasn't there, and I feel like without Bao, you are going to be fairly slow. They get spotted.
Yeah, they're really slow, but at least Gen.G don't have a jungler. They really want to all in on this Baron and get the smite down. Let's see if they can be clean on the smite first as it comes in and BDD steals it away! The Zoe picks up the kill on the Baron! And DRX just have to run away with their tail between their legs as Gen.G say thank you very much for the leash.
I want to see this BDD in playoffs! He's so good!
I know.
Listen,
welcome to our struggles, Chronicler, as an LCK caster.
Listen, as an LCK fan, I could get away, like I could deal with it, but now I can't anymore. I just want to see this kind of performance from Gen.G because, yes, we still see some of the mistakes. They're a team that sometimes can be a little disrespectful. They can play a little bit too far forward. But when you see BDD Zoe, like, come on, man, it's just not really fair. This is very unnecessary. Ruler goes without mana on the hunt for a fat Nidalee. And then the team doesn't have the damage or the sustain available. I can't believe he did this.
Can't believe you've done this.
Again.
Let's see.
It's just a pedestal. It's not
549. Yeah.
It's not even, like picking up a smite or finding like an unsealed spellbook smite or something of the sort. It's just a paddle star. And that is actually super pivotal because that is the type of play that against a lesser team, DRX, they will get the Baron, they will flip the momentum, and they might get back in this game. It's what they've done time and time and time again. And instead, Gen.G firmly in control. As long as they play a little bit less happy and a little bit more balanced. Oh, man.
This is League of Legends in 2021. This is what it is. Although, I still do remember Hotshot GG mid Italy. That was another kind of monster. So it is what it is. But
that's a throwback, right?
Yeah, that's an old one. And look at Clint, he's still standing there. Scarecrow Udyr. I love it.
I'll have you know that he was providing Baron buff to minions. Okay, he was doing something.
He was
Come on,
Udyring.
man, that's
Udyring.
It's like posturing, but better, because you have, a different range of postures that you can do as the shaman. He runs from lane to lane.
All right, he's here again. And this is Zoe's sweet spot, where he is ahead and he just gets to shell you with artillery shots from miles away. There's not much recourse. We do have TP coming in. That's a very fast Victor. So we're trying to look for the engage here if we are DRX, but Gen.G do back away very nicely at this point in time. Good spear does come through from Pyosik. That's one way to try to punish the Zoe. But immediate teleports back here coming in from Gen.G. They want to secure this Cloud Soul and should be able to relatively easily here, even though the Baron buff did go down.
Yeah, I think the lack of vision here should be a really big problem, and you just need a couple of seconds, and this is Cloud Soul 100% going over here to Gen.G. And DRX, if you look at how they can get back in this game, basically it is Gen.G, as we saw earlier, overextending, you know, or someone honestly like moving too far forward, or them trying a hard engage and not killing Sorka and or Bao. That's literally the only way at this point in time. That Gen.G comp has so much beefiness. This is the point where the death ball is at its strongest, and honestly, I have a hard time seeing with the form that specifically BDD is in at the moment. I think Ruder's teamfight positioning, outside of some individual plays that were a little bit overzealous, I think is the best way to put it, has been super solid as well. If he just respects... Oh god.
Oh,
this is a DRX special!
Really interesting. Okay, scanner comes through, ruler flashes away, but the ultimate coming in. They're actually committing a teleport to this as King In does come in. And there's no Baron for a minute 30, so DRX not really able to get much off of the back of that, except some push from King In, I guess, for a split second.
I kind of get it. I think if you don't teleport there, then Gen.G might actually look for an engage, right? Because it was just two people looking for a catch. And then you get engaged on, you die, and then the game just kind of ends. Now, however, we will be going into this Baron on relatively even footing. Now the team having a really big level of control. There's a little bit of an edge for DRX, but I expect them to get pushed back here and for Gen.G to be able to set this Baron with relative impunity. And then it just comes down to the execution. The poke from Gen.G is disgusting, and they have a lot of sustain available with the Karma. You know what would have been good though? If there was an item that Karma could have bought that gave them even more sustain to deal with the poke.
Not sure what you're referring to.
It would be cool if an item like that existed. And it would, I think it would do really well on specifically like champions like Karma that can like shield up an entire team.
I don't know what you're referring to.
No, I'm not referring to anything. That's why I'm saying.
Oh, it doesn't exist, right?
I think it would be cool if
that doesn't exist in the LCK, actually.
Thank you for that clarification.
Unless you're Seraphine, I guess. That's really the only champ we've seen build it. Moonstone, of course. And, well, Rascal, he still has his ultimate this time. Actually still has his flash, so he will be able to get away.
Imagine if you're like a new viewer and you don't know all the items yet, and you hear like two guys. I wish there was an item, but there is an item like that. It's Moonstone, and I would have really liked to see it on the Karma here. Yeah, this is what we're lampshading, because I can just imagine like, oh, yeah, that would be a cool item if that existed. But you just watch the LCK, and you just don't see it, unfortunately.
Yeah. You know, some champs we've pointed out could build it at certain times, even in Italy. You know, we've mentioned at times, especially with the heavy AP damage dealer in the mid lane, you could go for Moonstone, but not always the case here in the LCK. BDD is in an awkward spot, but he does have his flash. Here comes King, and he's looking for Clint, but he can't catch up to him. Oh, that was the saddest crocodile I've ever seen.
Clint's so fast. No way. He was Tokyo drifting his way out of them, man.
Yeah. King and wishes he was worth anything in this game, even after getting so fed. As now we're just looking for the front line here. Rascal is nicely tanky, but again, Bao does have some good late game damage, and he will be punished. As now BDD looking for more. Pyosik in the stopwatch is going to be able to flash away from that one. But that does mean that Solka, for some reason, is standing in the front. As now Kingen trying to frontline here for Bao. Can Bao go 1v3 is the question. Flash on forward, and the shield is just too much. As Life now is probably going to have to sacrifice, or will he? As he's very fast himself. Clid going to bring the attention away, and Life is actually going to save everybody.
I need some trumpets. I need a soundtrack to that because, oh my god, so many things just not working out well there. Both teams really limit testing continuously here. That was an MVP play from Livedor in the end because he flashed to shield Ruler just so Ruler would stay alive because otherwise Bao would just clear that fight up. I just want to draw your attention to what happens to Mid here because it's so funny. They find the collapse on DDD, but DDD has the stopwatch available. Yeah. And then here we see what the Renekton can do once he actually does get on top of someone. And it's kind of questionable to me that Gen.G pushes here, because all you get from this is like control of the mid wave and then possibly Baron, but they look to go for an extended fight, but the health bars are too low. Still lacking a little bit of sustain, and they go for the 50-50 Baron here. That's a big risk.
Well, they actually got the bubble on Ahsoka, but no follow-up here. So they're just going for this. Yeah, the smite comes in pretty easy for that one. They find Rascal in the front line. There's the stopwatch that you mentioned as Kingen now trying to go 1v5. He's providing a really nice front line for Bao and Solka, who are doing some insane damage. Not to mention the Nidalee, who's actually pretty nicely fed after the early game shenanigans. As you can see, they're looking for it. Bubble is going to come down, and now Solka trying out front line here once again. They find Rascal up on the top side, and the carries of DRX are slowly but surely beginning to get pretty scary in this game.
On the plus side, though, I thought Bioshik was going to go in. Okay. On the plus side, you still have 3 Baron buffs. The shutdown on BDD is not found, and DRX are not able to get the pivotal kills as Rascal heroically, again, throws himself into the fray. And without Bioshik there, I assume he got chunked down with a vision of him backing. This actually turns out decently, but as a whole, you do see that, as you mentioned now, Solka and Bao are online. And if you don't get on top of them, if you don't deal with them, and there is enough stalling happening, then you are in a bit of a pickle. This Elder Drake can...
It's like never-ending fighting right now.
This is the Death Ball comms.
Yeah. Trying to get on in there. You can see VDD is trying to tip away as well as he possibly can. Remember the Karma, the Senna, they have some nice range, but it's going to come down to it, and Pilchik gets the Elder, and now the front line just disappears. Klid is going to go down. His heroic effort to try to get the smite does not work out.
Rascal wasn't there, so they couldn't actually hard commit on that. If they would have gone for that, they lose the 50-50, as they do here, and they're actually handshaking that team fight. You get blown up. You just instantly lose the game. And possibly, I was going to say possibly your next, but if you lose the game, I don't see a way for you to do that without losing your nexus. And now Gen.G, they need to survive for the next 2 minutes. This is the classic all minus 1.8k gold Baron power play.
Classic.
This is the most DRX type of playstyle I've ever seen, where they somehow get away with this. And if you have Klid available, or Rascal rather available, you can go for this. But now you see the moment that Klid gets hooked, you realize we can't ever. No, need to get away. We need to not get engaged on, because if you lose a fight here, you lose so much more. And the Baron buffs is definitely not going to achieve anything. You just need to wait out Elder, right? You have so many turrets still standing in your mid lane. Just try and stall as much as you can. Just clear the minion wave. Just don't fight DRX. One fight can just cost you the game. Bao is 100% online. He has 4 items. He has heal and almost his flash available. And as long as King and Pioshi can just buy time, Solka and Bao can actually carry these team fights despite the rest of this game, Valdez.
Yeah, the early game might not matter if you can just get this crazy push going. They still got a minute left on Elder, and I don't know if they're going to stop. I mean, while you have Elder, it's so difficult for Gen.G to even fight you, as it does look like they are going to consider backing away here. We actually have a split push coming in from level 18 Rascal that they will have to annoyingly deal with.
He has an XP lead. I would like to remind you how this game started out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, this, thank you for highlighting our POG there. If Gen.G actually win the game, which at this point in time is not 100% certain. And it's not set in stone because of the aforementioned issues that Gen.G have. Gen.G have a comp that's really good at running into you, but DRX have Tristana and Victor. And I gotta be honest, it might not have been the cleanest way, but DRX found a way to make the Victor work. Like, they stalled the game long enough to the point where at this point you're like, okay, Victor, right? You have your free item power spike, you have your 2 masks, you have a void staff. Carry us, buddy. This is up to you now. The Elder buff has timed out now, meaning that Gen.G, they should be fine. They should be able to take control of this game again, but these incredibly messy team fights are really costing them a lot, because if you don't actually fight front to back, if you don't fight 5v5, but it's 2v2, 3v3, then the Renekton and Ridley also get more value, right? Because that's where, even at this point in the game, these picks are still really strong.
Yeah.
Where they can single out 1 or 2 targets, blow them up, and then go from there. And then, of course, as already mentioned, Sorka and Bao, they just want to have some time. They just want to keep auto-attacking, going to keep throwing skills, and then go from there. And as Gen.G, I think you might actually be in a slightly unfavorable position at this point. Now, they can out-execute. We've seen that. Are they going to do it? I don't know, man.
Where's the Serpent's Fang in this game against that Renekton?
Yeah.
That's just so gross. Imagine, I mean, he's got Stoneplate, he's got Sterix. If you're Gen.G, you want to try to burst through that Renekton so that DRX lose their front line and Victor and Tristana can't just do whatever they want. If you get rid of the Renekton and the Nautilus, I suppose, who also has some nice shielding, you're going to be in a great spot, I think. But I don't know if they can break through that amount of shielding is the question. They've got a nice amount themselves, but...
don't even think, like, the only one who can build it obviously is Senna, but I don't think it would be terrible. There's a reason why we saw a lot of lethality Senna. And the passive, honestly, I feel like just for King it might not be worth it, because I think the shield from Baka is fairly negligible. And he's hunting.
Yeah, he's looking for it. And this is what you got to do if you're Zoe, right? They're going to try to burst down Becca, as he will flash away. The damage is insane from Bao, but BDD is getting so much work done. As Solka gets bubbled, Bao gets hit in the face by a paddle star. There's another bubble onto Pyosik. He's trying to carry by himself, and Ruler's going to be able to get that kill onto Pyosik, but immediately Clit is going to go down. The 2 junglers are out, and DRX will be able to disengage, but the Baron is available. We'll see if Gen.G go for it with no junglers on the map.
And here we see the power of DRX, and why this team is so fun to watch is because even though it doesn't make sense on paper, even if their macro is subpar throughout the entirety of this series, they somehow find a way, and they find a way yet again here where, yes, they both lose their junglers, but in the end they can kite back well enough. They don't lose their 2 crucial carries in Solka and Bao, meaning that Gen.G can't actually do anything. And this next Elder fight, I think that's going to be the game. I think Baron at this point is somewhat manageable for either team. I think if the Elder Drake goes to one of the 2 teams, it's just over. Gen.G needs to get this Elder Dragon. There's just no way around it. Last time you had 2 turrets in the mid lane to get you through it. Not the case right now.
Yep, you don't have anything in the mid lane except a couple of Nexus turrets, which are basically like paper if you can get minions down that lane at this point in the game.
Paper turrets. Sounds like a cool, like, League of Legends themed album.
Yeah.
And then it's about, like, Tristana and Heimerdinger and...
Somebody get the LEC on that one.
Oh, man. Nothing but bangers.
Gotta start making the albums now. You can't only make singles.
There's gonna be, I don't know when, but we gotta make this happen. There's gotta be an LCK K-pop album.
Someday.
LCK
someday.
Pop. It's gotta come.
It's LCK pop?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We could make it happen. We got a crazy situation right now, as you mentioned. Even just the 1 auto from any of these carries on the side of DRX is so much damage onto that squishy Zoe that even BDD takes 1 and he's like, no, I got a back now. And it's a pretty rough spot. He does have TP, but now position given over to the side of DRX. They have insane amounts of damage, and they're just looking to burst it down. Again, if you can get the Elder, you're probably going to win this game. In goes Clit, and it goes to the side of Gen.G. And here come the executes. They take down Bao, and now there is no hope for DRX to win this one. Clit gets the steal, and Gen.G will win the game.
It's the most DRX ending possible. It's the 50-50 flip. Clit takes it, and in the end, it's Gen.G that's going to take the game, but I don't imagine they're going to be happy with this one as a whole, Valdez.
Well, they got the job done. We saw the dead body of the Udyr in the river. And while he does get the smite, what a game from PDD on the Zoe. Incredible stuff. 8-0-6, legendary by the end of it. DRX, you were so close. You almost forced a game number 3, but not this time around. Maybe we'll see them face off in playoffs. Maybe we won't, but there is one thing that is for sure. Gen.G, with this victory and another kill under their belt on Becca, they will secure second place for the spring playoffs.